PhD. One day you will write books. One day commercials. One day the impossible, you will laugh at the impossible. You will look at the impossible and go, what was I thinking?
Hello, my spoiler alert friends. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About It. Man, first, can I start this off with, God is good, y'all. You know, last week, we didn't have an episode. I'm like, okay, they're going on a hiatus for Solo Leveling. Like one of the greatest shows playing right now. And I'm like, dang, they're going on a hiatus. Who knows when they'll show another dubbed episode because we never get anything good. Man, it must have been a mistake, but we got 2 episodes this week. So I'm watching the first episode and it ends, and I'm like, dang. And then normally it pops up on my screen and it's like, do you want to continue in Japanese? And I make sure to click no so that they know we're dubbed watchers out here, baby. Give us the real. But this time it just kept playing. So I'm like, wait, please don't tell me it's just going to start playing the Japanese. Sure enough, it was another English episode. I'm like, yes, because these episodes seem to go by like at the blink of an eye. So we had 2 episodes. Last time we left off, we had Hunter Sung. He had just did the the scan to see what his level was, and they were like, "You're off the charts," and then you are the 10th S rank hunter to ever hit Japan, right? And so now he's in the in between phase, this gray phase, where he's still ranked as an E hunter, but his power level is obviously an S, but he hasn't taken the hunter exam to prove that he's an actual legit S. So he's doing these mining raids, and he's like clearing these things out, helping with higher ranked teams, or at least they think higher ranked teams, and he's clearing out dungeons, getting the stuff, and he's getting paid for it. So his whole thing was like, I'm gonna do this, get some money, meet whatever quota he needed to make. And then before he became an S rank, and then it was like required for him to do all this other type of stuff. So he's doing this, and then this guild comes up, and they're like, hey, one of our guys had to drop out, so we need somebody who can come and carry our sacks for us during this raid. And everybody's like, no. It's like, it's too dangerous. And then the leader of the group goes, hey, I'll give you guys hazard pay. And they're like, if we're being real with you, hazard pay isn't enough if we can't literally pay for anything after, because we're dead. So no thanks. But then Hunter Sung, I'm gonna just call him Hunter Sung because I like it. It's kind of funny. Hunter Sung goes, wait, you guys are doing what raids? And then previously the guy had said they're going to be doing an A rank and a C rank, but this group was going to be going on the A rank. So he's like, oh, snaps. In his mind, he's like, okay, great. I can go into this dungeon, fight this A rank dude. And I'm sure he was like thinking, I'm going to use my necromancer ability and take over some A rank dude, and or get some like cool skills and abilities and like merchandise type stuff. So he says, yeah, I'll do it. And then people are like, what? Are you crazy? First of all, you're an E rank. You have no place being in an A rank dungeon. So absolutely not. What are you talking about? So, but then the dude who was recruiting him, he's like, yes, you come. Because he's in his mind. So his situation is, I have to prove myself as being one of the best in his guild at his rank, so that he can then take over the secondary team, right? And he's like, I have to prove myself. So he's like, in his mind, he's thinking, if I take this E rank with me, we get through and everybody comes out fine. He's like, I'm that guy. So yeah, definitely come with me. You'll be safe, all this stuff, yada, yada. So they go into the gate, and immediately Hunter Sung is like, something's off. Like he's getting that same feeling he had when he went into the last one and it turned into a red gate. And so he's like, something's off, whatever. And then all of a sudden these dogs come after them, and they're like trying to eat them, and they're like, they chop them down, and then they notice, wait, these dogs have collars on them. That's weird. And because they're approaching it from if these are wild dogs, they, in an A rank dungeon, they're C rank dogs. So in an A rank dungeon, they should have been wiped out already by the local ecosystem. And since they weren't, that's a little odd. Then Hunter Sung finds the collar on him and he's like, maybe these are someone's pet. And then they're like, oh, is that even possible? Like for these creatures in these dungeons to like have the intellect to make another animal their pet? And then all of a sudden they get this like sense about them, like, oh snap, something's off here. We need to go. So they're like deliberating, and then they're like, you know what? Based on what we just encountered, we need to go ahead and hit the road. So then they go and try and leave the dungeon, and it's like it turns color and it's doing the whole thing like it does when it does red gates. And they're like, okay, we got to get out of here. Obviously something is wrong and we made the right decision to leave. So then when they go to try and leave the gate, there's a curse on it, and then their mages like start vomiting blood and like going crazy basically with this curse. And then they get this like rush of this sensation, like, oh no, something very dangerous is behind us. And sure enough, they turn around and it's like an orc army. And then the head orc in that little army comes up, and then he's like starts doing like, you know, like what is that movie? The Exorcism of Emily Rose, where she's like all contorted and he's like twisting his head, and then their leader starts speaking through his subordinate's body. Super crazy. I'm like, first of all, that's a really cool ability, but then also super scary. Like, imagine being in the dungeon and then you got these huge, like, snarling beasts right here in front of you, and they're like doing all this like demonic stuff. Is like super creepy. So he's like speaking to him, and he's like, you can either be killed by my soldiers right here, or you can come and talk to me. So then they just decide, all right, we're gonna come talk to this dude, see what's up. Obviously it's a trap. So they go in there, and the whole time Ji-Woo's like holding his bag. They had just gone through, like I said, they had just fought the dogs, and then they fought another horde of like orcs, and they should have been killed then. But Ji-Woo was using his stealth ability, and he like basically made it so that they were able to defeat these guys and no one got harmed, and they were like, it's a miracle. And one of the hunters, though, she was on to it. She was like, no one in our camp or in this guild knows how to do that ability. So obviously it's you, the new guy. And why is no one else recognizing this? Whatever. She was like, I'm just going to be cool. I'm not going to say anything. He must have a reason why he's keeping this a secret. So they just keep on going. So all that happens. We go. Then now they're being taken to the headquarters of the boss's lair, right? And when they get in there, it is full of these like high-ranked orcs. And then you got the general. He's on his chair and he's like sitting there, and then he's got his like lieutenants, 4 lieutenants standing there. It looked really cool because it was like, yeah, we are those people. We run this. You guys are just our toy things. And that's basically what they said to the guy. So he comes up and he's like, well, we want you to, the head guy is talking to, it's like head guy to head guy. He's talking, and then he's like, I want you guys to fight one-on-one basically with my guys, and then basically you'll end up being tortured and then killed for the amusement of my soldiers. It was like, what? Like some ancient Rome type stuff. Like, what is going on? So then the dude gets mad because he's like, you think we're like nothing, like we're specks under your feet and you can just do whatever because we're human and we're nothing to you. And then he like shows, like releases a little bit of his power and terrifies his whole team. His whole team is like spooked, and he's like, I gotta go in. I'm gonna have to attack this dude. So he goes head in, and he's hoping that his team's gonna come with him. He looks back, and they're literally like petrified, frozen still. So he's like, he charges. Then the dude takes his body, throws him up against the ceiling, throws him against the ground, throws him against the ceiling again. And then when he goes to throw him to the ground, Hunter Sung goes and catches him. He's like, all right, now I have to step in because I can't let you guys die in here. I'm gonna have to take over. So he asks the dude while he's talking, so he interrupts the fight. That's the first no-no for this other group. And then he's talking to him, and he's like, "Do I have your permission to kill all these dudes?" And then one of the guys in I'm just gonna call him the Orc army. So one of the guys from the Orc army comes up, and he's like, "You're not gonna disrespect this. I'm gonna attack you." So and then Jinwoo turns and then like takes control of him, throws him against the ceiling, and then it's like this whole thing. And the other generals, like the other general, like the head of the Orc army, is like, "Oh, so that was just an imitation. He's not really strong. I'm not impressed. Whatever." So then Jinwoo stands up like a dog. He starts walking, and then the smoke starts coming out, and you know what he's doing. You know what he's doing. He's summoning that army, that undead army. And I'm like, yo, it was so tight. This was like a slow motion walk, and then slowly but surely this like purple mist is coming up, and then they turn into the army. And then the orc general goes, "You think you're going to come in here and do something with this measly army?" Because he doesn't know of this necromancer ability. So first he summons all his guys. And then he had unlocked this ability that basically enhances all of his soldiers when they're inside of the, what he called was the Monarch Gate or Monarch Zone, something like that. And basically it was a big circle, and any of his guys that were inside of it had like a huge power boost. So he activates that, and then the battle commences. And I mean, when I say in an instant, they were like slashing, slaughtering. I mean, these orcs were just being destroyed, blood everywhere, just completely annihilated within this circle. And as you know, when one of his undead army or the Monarch army kills something, those things, if Hunter Sung's ability is strong enough, they become a part of his army. So they're cutting everything down, doing all this stuff. And the orc general is like, "What is going on? Like, why is this dude even able to do anything?" And sure enough, Jinwoo, then he looks at him and he's like, "Have you ever heard of necromancer?" And then he tells them, and then he like raises the orc general's people up from the ground, and then he says, "And now I'm coming for you." Oh, like it was so good, guys. It was so good because first of all, we're seeing Jinwoo do all of this stuff, and he's doing it in front of people. So he wasn't aware that he was aware that the team that he was with was there, but also other people had come in because this gate had changed, and they're like, "Oh, we need to go in there and help these guys because it's way above the power level that it read at before." So all these people are in there, and he's literally just annihilating this orc army, and everyone's seeing it. So we're seeing his ability. First of all, we saw where he was and where he came from, and he came across multiple people who it was like he tried to make them a part of his army, but he wasn't strong enough. So then it was just a wasted situation almost. But now he's literally just dominating this super high ranked dungeon, and everybody's just watching in amazement, like, I can't believe this dude is this strong. And so ultimately, the general is completely thrown off, the orc general, and he's like, "No, I can't. You are annoying me. All of your people in here are annoying me." He hits them with a spell, makes them go blind, like blows up their eyes. It was the craziest thing. And then he's like, "Now I'm about to get rid of you because you've officially like PO'd me," right? So and he goes in. He starts throwing these spells. Hunter Sung's like completely unfazed by it. He literally has a skill that nullifies like poisons and spells and things like that. So it's like it instantly just shatters his things. Dude is getting super frustrated, so he's like turns big, and then he starts shooting fireballs, and he's got all these things shooting and destroying everything. He's killing his own men, he's killing all of the undead soldiers, he's killing everybody. He's like, "I'm destroying everything in here just to get rid of you," and it doesn't work. So and then he sends his lieutenants out to go fight, and then obviously they get handled, and it was like a completely one-sided battle. And up until then, we hadn't really seen like a battle quite like that. It's like it was close when they were fighting those elves in the forest and the ice elves, and but this one was like completely one-sided in my opinion. And then it ultimately ends with the orc general getting killed by one of his, like his last images are him looking up from the ground at one of his soldiers that had been brought back in Hunter Sung's army, and then he slices him down. And then he gets spawned and summoned, and then he gives him the name Tusk because he couldn't remember the dude's name because he was like, just super disrespectful. You can't even remember his name. Nah, I'm playing. But these 2 episodes were really good. It's like basically what the show has been doing. It's like it had like a peak, then it came back down. He was doing a little dungeons, and then now it's coming up on another peak because now everybody is seeing just how skilled he is, and now it's going to come out to the world. Hey, this dude just conquered an A rank, almost S rank dungeon by himself. He like soloed the whole thing. So it was really cool. If you have not seen the show, I say this every time, but if you have not seen the show, check it out. It is so good. And really there's a lot of character development throughout. And that's one of my favorite parts about it. It's like he started off as this E rank character who had no skill, no abilities whatsoever, basically. And then he gradually became who he is today. And then on the side note, can I just mention this side note? The girl in the, so there was a healer who was in the group, and before they went to go face this boss, all of them were like, hey, we're pretty much sure we're gonna die. So she hands Jinwoo her will, like, hey, can you take this back to my family? So that they have this once I die. And then he's like, he was just impressed that all of this guy's team was ready to go in and die with him. But she is an incredible healer. She literally, when they were in a fight, literally, one of the guys got his arm cut off. It's gone. It's gone. No more arm. She literally heals him and then grows him another arm. Super tight. I'm like, what in the world? People have these abilities in this world. Like, I don't know. That's just a side note. I really like the healer class type people. So like, if like the paladin style where it's like you can heal and fight are like that's my favorite. But if you're not one of those, then either be a tank or a healer. That's what it is for me. So thank you guys for listening. If you guys have anything, throw it in the comments, guys. Like I said, let's talk about it. That's what this is for. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.
One thing I know.